So it's another week and another video, and we've got some more tips coming up. So yeah, let's crack on with the video. So it's been another busy week. I don't know whether it's been busier with vans going out or being sold, or vans coming in. So we've managed to buy quite a few. If you watched our Friday little sort of behind the scenes video, showed a couple of sneak peek bits and bobs of vans that had just come in, so we're going to have a look in those in a little bit more detail. One of our tips today, we've got one coming up a bit more in detail about batteries, but somebody last week had mentioned about their gas hob not having sort of the correct flame size coming through, smaller than the other ones. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to have a quick look at that and how to clean it out and what potentially the problem is. So if you've tried with the gas on, you've tried banging your control dial, turning it up and down, and if we've still got the same problem where we've got just a small little flame, it's not really changing inside, the only thing that we can do is actually clean out our burner. Now you do have to be careful with these little screws, because sometimes on the older vans they're rusted in and they're going to break, and if they break it's a bloody nightmare. So if you find that your screws aren't coming out easily, the only thing that you can do is try and spray in a little bit of WD and then just leave them for a little bit of time and just hopefully let it soak through the thread. Probably try it again in 24 hours and see what is happening. So once we've unscrewed our top cap and removed that, our second cap is going to come off, and then if you look down in here, this is actually where our gas jet is coming through. So that is where he's going to blow the gas through, spread this then through our little outlets here, and then our igniter is going to light up the flame. 9 times out of 10 it will just be some debris in here, so if you get a hoover into here and try and give this a bit of a clean out, and then what we can do is literally just pop it back together and give it a try. What we probably want to do before we've done this, and again I'm terrible for this, I'm terrible on it, I'm just going like I'm a bull in a china shop. So I'm just making sure you're paying attention is what I'm doing.
Don't take Mark to a china shop.
No, everything will end up on the floor. So before you start doing this, obviously make sure your gas is turned off. It's not so bad on this because unless your gas control knob is turned on, there's not going to be any gas coming through anyway. So just make sure your gas is isolated here and that you've turned it off on the battery, on the actual gas bottle itself. Gas bottles, watch our video about the little dumpy bottles because they're no longer available. So little video popping up on the screen if you've not already seen that, but the little small bottles you're not going to be able to get hold of. So back onto what we're supposed to be doing. So isolate your gas bottle and then probably just turn your 12 volt off, just so that you've not got any power coming through. Make sure that you've got your 230 volt disconnected. We're not really going to touch with the 230. I'm just being over the top here now. So we'll pop this back into place and we'll just give it a quick little test. We'll pop that back on, we'll pop our screws back in, and it literally is, it's a real quick little check. It doesn't take long if you can get your screw back in and lined up to actually put it back together. So we can pop it back together, pop our screws back in.
And you're not going to do any damage by sucking
No, won't hurt anything, as long as you're not putting anything into the hoover that shouldn't go in it, then yeah. So we'll put it back together. So we'll now put our electric back on, put our gas back on, and we'll try it again. If that hasn't sorted your issue, if it's not just some debris that's in the top of there, we'll turn everything back off again. So we'll turn our gas back off again, turn our electric back off again, we'll unplug the 230 volt, we'll make sure that everything is nice and safe before we go tatting around with things. We'll pop this back off, and now inside of here, as I say, is the actual jet. Now you can buy proper little files to clean out the jets and things, and I'm not expecting you to go out and buy things. If you get some electrical wire some of the stranded wire that's probably got a normal sort of round 3-core cable. If you've got a little offcut of that, and if you can get one of the little strands, the little copper strands out of that, you're going to need it about this sort of long, so it's going to need to be a fair old size. Obviously, if it's a plug that's plugged into the 230 on the kettle, don't go trying to cut that while it's plugged in or anything like that. Make sure it's just an old bit of cable that you can actually cut up, and it's not off the wife's hairdryer or hair straighteners or something like that. And with that little bit of strand, we're literally then just going to poke it into the middle down that jet, because what is likely happening is if it's not just got crap in there, it's going to have something actually blocking inside of the jet. So
a little hole, little pinhole in the middle of that jet.
That's it. So your wire then, you're going to want to try and poke through the middle of that.
You can't do any damage then if you do that.
No, it won't hurt anything. It's not going to cause any damage. It's not going to break anything. It's literally just a copper tube, effectively. So we'll poke that through, put the hoover back in. Hopefully then that will clean out your jet. We sometimes get it where there's either a bit of food popped in there, or it might even be you've got a spider in your ring.
Oh no, not a spider.
I hate it when I get a spider in my ring.
Oh,
I really don't like getting spiders in my ring. So yeah, it's just going to be something has got in there. You should then be able to put this back together, turn everything back on, and fingers crossed that is going to get you back up and running and working. If you've still got the same problem, the chances are it's actually going to be the gas valve itself that is at fault. And if it is something on the actual gas valve itself, then you know that it's not just a quick 10-minute sort of strip down and problem to fix. It's a bit more in-depth job, and it's then really a case for getting your mobile engineer or your service centre to have a look at it and just try and identify. You can sort of say to them, look, I've had the burner off, I've tried to clean out the little jet in there and it's not made any difference, so they can then start having a look at the actual they can start having a look at the little control valve and whatever that's coming up to that before we get to this point. But 9 times out of 10, just giving that a bit of a clean out, that should sort that out. So we're going to carry on with our van tours. Hopefully, if you've got an issue with one of those rings, that should sort it out. On Friday, yeah, you sometimes just get to that time in life when you start to get problems with your ring. So yeah, nothing that you can really do about it. So on Friday again, was mentioning about, it's been very busy, very busy. So the motorhome, that is sold. The Bailey Retreat,
the motorhome didn't even go on sale.
It didn't really, no. We never actually put it on sale properly with any pictures or anything. The Retreat, I think that went within a week. We're going to have a look inside of that, proper good look at the minute, because that, I love that, and I'm a bit gutted that it's gone. I'm a bit gutted that it's gone. The one with the cupboards, it's gone. So we've sort of left it up to the people that have bought it for what they want. They've not let us know at the moment whether they want the other bits of the cupboards wrapping or not. I think they might like the cream colour. So it's one of those, isn't it? It's a bit horses for courses. We'd shown quickly a few vans that we'd bought in. The Bailey Moderna, that's gone as well. The Pegasus 524, that's gone. It's gone mental on the sales. We are going to do a bit of an update on the sales sort of caravan market, but it's gone absolutely ballistic. Really lovely van, this. It's got the aircon, it's got the motor mover. We will be doing a quick sort of video review on this. That should be, if it's not already come out, that will be coming out pretty soon.
Lovely upholstery in this one.
26,995 this is going to be. It's about 6 months old. It's still got all manufacturer's warranty. It's got the aircon, it's got the mover. Beautiful. Another beautiful van. Little Sprite Alpine. We bought this week as well.
This one had hardly been used.
Let me get the key. We've locked it because it's as new. It's like the other one. Now, I was half thinking that we weren't going to get off the drive with this. I sort of thought that the guy's wife was going to change her mind before we actually got off the drive. I think this was a very much head over heart decision. We've got the Swift command in this one.
Command in that one.
Yeah, so we can pop our lights on above our cabinets. Pop our other bits and bobs on. So yeah, this is a real little stunner. 17,995. This one is 2020. It hasn't got the motor mover on.
You don't need it really.
No, not on the smaller little one. But again, if you wanted to move it, can always be fitted. But yeah, this is stunning. Kev came in to clean this earlier. One of the valeters, he came in and he said, wow, this is like, I've literally just had to look at everything and not really actually do much because it is stunning. So a lovely, lovely little two berth, which is strange because we said we weren't really buying two berths. We said 6 berths and end island beds is what we were going to really be buying. But as soon as they sort of found and said about that,
and they were only local.
yeah, they were literally round the corner. It was one that we just couldn't miss because they sell like hotcakes, so we were silly not to buy that. The other one that came in this week, it's the big brother to that little one, is the Sprite Quattro FB. Now this is 2017, it's 19,495. Let's put some lights on. Again, another really, really nice van. It's been well looked after. I think. Oh, start to have a party.
Have a rave.
So the rave is gone and over. But yeah, this is a stunner. We sold this in about 2019. It was about, well, it's 2 years old when we sold it. For the second time, I think we'd just sold this to a guy in 2018-ish, end of 18. He then split up with his missus. We then bought it back in, sold it to the other couple, and we've just bought it. So this will be the third time we're selling this one.
And it's only because the people that their children were older and
yeah,
didn't
they just
want to go away
got
with
a bit
them anymore, did they?
Got a bit older, so yeah. But yeah, this is a little cracker. So we are now going on with our tips, and the next tip is your battery. So a couple of weeks ago, we'd got a Caravan battery that had started to just decharge. So really under 12 volts, we're getting into trouble with our battery. So anything under that, we're getting critical. So let's see if we can revive this battery. Faulty leisure battery. Not so much faulty, it's just been left to discharge for too long, and we're reading 6.22 volts. Can we repair it? Let's see what we're going to do. If you've left your leisure battery for too long without being charged, it's probably discharged, and really when they get to a point where they're below 50%, you're going to start doing serious damage and it's probably not going to be recoverable. This is about 6 volts. We're not getting any reading of what ampage it's giving out at the minute, so all that we can do is stick it on charge and try and give it a boost and a recovery mode and see whether we can get it back into action and get it back working. Now this is a lead acid battery. It's a class B, it's a proper NCC battery, and we need to check our levels. So we'll check those levels first, give them a top up if needs be, and then we're going to stick it on charge and we're going to try and see if we can recover this battery back. Now this thing has seen some action, but this is the sort of thing that you're going to need. It's a 30 amp charger and booster. Now when we put this onto the boost function, what it's basically doing is really supercharging the battery. You can get different types of battery chargers that have got a pulse mode on there that will basically do the same thing as what the boost is doing, and it's going to try and boost the energy back into this battery and try and desulfate all of the plates that are within the battery. They basically sulfate up, so they'll get clogged up. There's sulfuric acid within the battery. which then over time, with not being charged and not being maintained, the sulfuric acid turns into a sulphur and it goes hard. So basically what we're trying to do is get that off of there by putting lots of power through it and really trying to just kick-start it back into action. Now I'm going to leave this on for a couple of hours and just see if we can get any action back out of this battery, get the voltage back up there and just start getting it to actually produce something. And then we're going to put the little battery tester back on there, which is going to sort of act like a drop tester, and it's going to just tell us what ampage that the battery is then giving out, and just see whether we can kick-start it back into action. We'll then try to give it a bit of a load and just see how long it lasts by powering something, and then we can charge it again, and hopefully by just giving it a few cycles just kick-start it back into action and just start getting the sulfuric acid back working within that battery and just bring it back to life. There are other chargers, as I say. Well, we've got a little link in the Amazon shop, and we've got some different chargers that will do a similar sort of a thing, because you don't have to go for a massive expensive charger to be able to do this, and it will just take a little bit longer with a lower ampage. We use a 30 amp charger. Some out there are about 10 amps, but this hopefully will give you an idea of how to kickstart your battery and whether it's even worth trying to do or just go and buy a new battery. So let's come back to it later and see how we're getting on. So it's been on for probably about an hour now, and we're creeping up. So we've not got just completely no good. We're now into a recharge state. The actual cranking amps has gone down, but we're starting to show a bit more life actually on the battery. So we're just going to keep on and off, and then probably put it onto a normal charge cycle, and hopefully we can get this battery back to life. So we're going to put a link into our Amazon shop for a little charger that if you've got a battery and it's just started to not charge up full, and it's probably that it's started to sulphur up on the plates, there is a chance that you could save it. So have a look in our Amazon shop. There'll be a link in the description, and we'll put a little charger that we've had quite a few reviews of people saying it was quite good. And we'll come back to that battery next week, because we need to really leave it on for a good few days and a bit of testing on and off, and really just see whether we can get that back on. So next week we'll see whether we can have saved that battery, whether it's workable, usable, and see what happens. Hopefully you've liked our bit of an update, caravan tours, tips, and yeah, just some waffle really. So we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark at the Caravan Place.